Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, welcome. We're the Garso twins. I'm Carly.
And I'm Britta.
And we would love it if you would subscribe if you like this video and hit the little bell so you don't miss our uploads. Today we're going to be doing an updated talc-free best products kind of run through. You know, talc has kind of been like a hot topic as of late because of that HBO documentary that came out. We haven't seen it.
And we don't want to promote fear mongering.
We don't.
Well, but Britta, you can go into your own.
Do your own research on talc. It's not a quote-unquote bad ingredient in our eyes, but I personally have a talc allergy. I stumbled upon this reasoning maybe like 5-6 years ago now. It's been a while. And when I first was diagnosed with this talc allergy, there were not that many products that were talc free. And I guess I want to narrow this down to powder products because talc can be found in like some foundations, so be careful if you also have a talc allergy, but mainly it's used in powder products. So everything we're talking about here is powder. But back then there were like literally no brands that were talc free, so it was really hard to kind of start like eliminating it from what I use. Now it's much easier. We work, as you guys know, well, if you watch our videos, we work in the beauty industry in product development, and even like the contract manufacturers we work with, a lot of them have started to just like baseline formulate without talc because so many brands are requesting it now. Like we said, I think there's you know, there's two sides to every story, or like we don't want to promote that it's like a really bad ingredient, but I do think that more people are formulating without it, so it's like crazy how far it's already come. Yeah, exactly. And I think this is our third. Well, I did a couple, when it first happened, I did a couple blog posts on it because I like was looking for brands that didn't have talc in their products and couldn't find that much. So I did some blog posts on our blog, and then we've done a couple of videos as well. But like we were saying, there's so many offerings now of talc-free products. So we wanted to do an updated favorites video to kind of really like show you the products that we use almost on a day-to-day basis. Looking at this, I pretty much use these every day. And they're talc-free. So let's get into it. Okay, probably my favorite product I own, maybe, potentially, is the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick. We both have it in the shade 02, and it looks like this. The one thing with talc-free products, I will say, is for some reason, and I actually don't know how, I don't know the science behind this, but yeah, there's so much kickback, so they generally tend to get really powdery. But you know, whatever, it's fine. This bronzer is my favorite powder bronzer. I use it almost every day. I actually don't have it on today for once. I do. For once. Okay. It's just so good. And Victoria Beckham in general, you know, they are a clean beauty brand. So I believe, don't quote me, but I think they are all talc-free. I'm sure, yeah. I think it's on their blacklist. This is the only like powder product I own from them. But it's so good. It's like really finely milled. It goes on like it goes on, I don't want to say sheer, but it's so easily I don't think it's sheer. Well, it just depends, because as you can see, there's two colors. I usually use the lighter one though, but I feel like because it's so finely milled, it does kind of like deposits a lot. But you can like blend it out so seamlessly. I guess it's like the most it's probably the most blendable bronzer I own. So you can blend it out and it never looks so harsh, and this color in particular is just so pretty. I find that it lasts all day. Like the color really doesn't fade. I don't know, this is like an 11 out of 10 product for me. I think for you too. I love it. I think it's definitely worth the money, even though it's probably the most one of the most expensive things we're going to talk about. After my Bare Minerals Invisible Bronzer was discontinued, I thought I wouldn't ever love a bronzer again. I do love this. That one's still like, oh, I love it so much, but I didn't want to talk about it in this video, and here I'm talking about it, but you can't get it anymore. Okay, next up, let's talk about blushes. So I would say my favorite talc-free blush is still the Persona Super Blushes. Yeah, that one's so good. This is the shade Terracotta. I'm dying to get my hands on Bubble, that like pink blush, but it's just really not available anywhere. And one thing I love about these is how compact they are. They're so easy to travel with. They're the perfect pan size for my brush. They're like, it's just a perfect blush in my opinion. I'm wearing it today. And I love a good matte blush, matte bronzer. We talked about the Victoria Beckham. These ones, again, like super finely milled, blend out so effortlessly. I would say similarly to the bronzer, like they do deposit some product, but blend out really easily. I wouldn't say this is sheer, but it's not super pigmented either. Like a really good middle ground. So can't say enough good things about those, but we also love
Well, Bare Minerals blushes in general.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say
all the ones that they've released.
Bare Minerals is talc-free in general, so anything you buy from them powder-wise would be talc-free. But the blushes really stand out. Like I love the matte blushes. I have this matte blush palette from them that I use all the time. You just can't get anymore, so I don't use it on camera. And then their Blurred Buff Bounce and Blur blush, that's a tongue twister. Use that one all the time as well, but these are like the newest.
Yeah,
these are the bronzers, and we have all three. They kindly sent them to us, and love these.
Well,
like,
I purchased mine.
oh yeah, you purchased, and then they sent us a set of
Yeah,
all
I purchased
three. Kiss of Rose from Sephora, and then they sent it to us in PR, so now we have all three. But
Yeah, and this formula is just so beautiful.
actually, for being talc-free, these don't have crazy kickback.
Oh, I think because they're baked,
Yeah.
right? Well, I think it's because there's a pressing design.
Oh, maybe like they're pressed.
Yeah, so it's like pressed in there more than some of the other powders. Yeah, and I do think they're baked. I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
Made in Canada. Maybe they're not baked then.
Yeah.
Well, usually it's Italy that does the baked powders. But these are just so like luminous and beautiful, and like you won't miss talc at all if you're into talc. Because sometimes talc, I do find that it kind of like, not blurs, but you know what I mean? It has that like luxury powder quality.
Yes. Well, I honestly haven't used it in so long. I don't really remember.
I'm wearing the Pat McGrath blush today.
Okay.
That has talc.
Okay. So it just, it has that sort of like, I don't know, like skin-like quality and I feel like these blushes also look skin-like because of like, I assume the mica they use. It's just really beautiful and luminous, and they're like an incredible blush. Yeah, we'll link to the reel that Carly did down below swatching all of these for you. Okay, we have two face powders that are talc-free. I would say our favorite is the Kosas Cloud Set powder.
I use it every day.
Yeah, this is the shade Feathery. This is like my second one. As you can see, it's almost gone, so I have another powder that I kind of bought to replace it because this was sold out forever. I think it's finally back on Sephora now, but it's just this is a baked powder, as you can see from Carly's.
Yeah.
And it's super finely milled. It just deposits like the perfect amount of product that doesn't make you look cakey, but really sets and like blurs the face. Can't say enough good things. It's just quite expensive for how quickly I go through it.
Yeah, that is true. I never really go through powder products in general. I'm not really heavy-handed, but this is my second one. And for me,
baked powders,
yeah.
I feel like because there's so much kickback, and then, it's just, you go through them quicker. If you guys have ever used baked powder, you know.
Yeah, they're not in a pan because it's it's like a brick.
Yeah.
So it's actually really sustainable, this product, too.
Okay, and then the other powder, so like I said, the Kosas powder had sold out, and I was, like I said, going through it quickly, so I'm like, I'm going to try a loose powder. And I had ordered the Rare Beauty setting powder on Sephora during the sale, and I did return that. I liked it. That's also talc-free, so that is a pretty good, like, affordable option, I would say, but I didn't love it. And then I ordered this Jaclyn Cosmetics, what is this called? Powder Move Loose Setting Powder in Sheer Light.
Where's this made?
Let's see, made in the USA? Oh, made in the US. And she had done the video on her collection with her mom, Robin. This was one of the launches, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try that loose powder because I feel like a loose powder will just last me longer naturally. And I think this was a little bit less than the Kosas, not that much, but again, I thought it would last me longer. First of all, the packaging, it's so bulky. I really wish it wasn't this bulky because I can't travel with it. I went out of town last weekend and I took the Kosas, but like there's none, like barely any left in here. But I really ended up loving this so far. I feel like it is super finely milled. It's a really, really soft powder, if that like helps to describe it at all. Like I can barely feel it on my finger.
Maybe like into my hand as well.
Yeah, really soft and thin. It doesn't really add any pigment to the skin, and I don't even know if you can tell.
Which the Kosas one does.
This
comes in various shades. We should mention that. Because it does add a little bit of like coverage, I would say even.
This one does come in shades too, but it doesn't add coverage. And I don't even know if you can tell, but it does have this like luminescence. Can you see
that
it?
is pretty. Maybe I'll get
It's so pretty.
Yeah, what's up with that packaging?
I know. I love this, especially for like spring and summer. Like I just feel like it adds this really nice like glow from within to my skin without being like metallic or overly shimmery like some of these types of powders can be. And it does still blur my face. I especially notice it on my forehead. I feel like ever since I started wearing this, my forehead fine lines have been like slightly less noticeable because it's not like settling in lines at all because it's so fine. So I've been loving this, and there's a lot of, I actually can almost feel it when I like swatch it. There's a lot of silicones in this. You can like kind of feel that like silicone-y like.
But no talc?
No. Yeah. And I think that's why I love it, because we personally love silicones, which those also, there's some controversy there, but we love them.
I don't know if they mentioned those in the
Yeah, I don't know.
We haven't
like,
watched that documentary.
We said we haven't seen it. But I feel like that's why I love it, because silicones just tend to like plump up the skin. They don't really like fill in your, they don't settle in lines. And so I think that's why this looks so good on my skin, and I've been just loving it. So I hope that it lasts me a while.
Did you get it from Ulta?
Yeah. I got it the day it launched because I watched her video, and then I watched Allie Glines' video, and she liked it as well. And I've seen some people that have more oily skin not like it because obviously it does add like a glow. So if you have oily skin, you might not like this, but I've been loving it.
Okay, next up are some eyeshadows, which when Britta first had discovered her allergy,
Yeah.
I feel like this was probably the hardest category.
The hardest.
At the time, I feel like you had like literally zero options. Maybe it was like Bare Minerals, like
no,
those old
I
palettes.
remember it was the Dose of Colors palettes, but then there was that other controversial ingredient in them, the Teflon
which is
ingredient.
much worse. Much worse.
So then I discontinued use of that because I was just a little more worried about that. But I did love those shadows for a while. And there was one other one. I have to look back at my blog post, which maybe I'll link those down below too, because there were some like good finds in there, but there was like literally nothing.
Yeah. Oh, the Balm. I know that they've always been
That's
talc-free.
right. That's right. Are they around anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But now there's like major, huge brands that are talc-free, which is so great. And one of them being Patrick Ta, and we have the first palette and the second palette.
Yeah.
This is the new one. This is still my favorite, the Major Dimension.
Yeah,
like
the first is well loved.
It's so
well
this is
loved.
new, so like it looks like I barely touched it.
Yeah.
But I have used it. Yeah, this one obviously you can tell I've used like the mattes even more than the shimmers, which I love the shimmer shades, but the mattes to me are really special. I love the tones in this one specifically.
I agree.
Again, with the kickback because it's talc-free, I think, but these mattes are so good. They essentially won themselves. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, they blend like
The Victoria Beckham
they're
bronzer.
softer to me. I think this is pressed harder.
Yeah.
I think these are pressed lighter. But like they blend really similarly, where it's kind of like an effortless blend. Yeah, they blend really well. And like even if you go in with too much pigment, like on these like darker shades, you can blend it out really easily. Yeah, this is definitely my most used palette, I would say, because it's talc-free and it has the shimmers and the mattes. So I love it, which I should honorable mention, I know I mentioned this in the last video, but the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes are also talc-free, and I still love
Are they all talc-free?
Yeah, and I still love Soft Glam, so I'll say that. But we were going over eyeshadow palettes recently, and like all the ones that I use have since been discontinued. Like the Natasha Denona Safari palette was talc-free, but not all of her palettes are. And so that one I love and use too. And I just wanted to quickly give a hot tip. This cream shadow makes a beautiful blush. It takes like a little bit of effort to blend.
Yeah, I love that color.
Yeah, but it looks beautiful as a blush. 10 out of 10 recommend these. I know they're pricey, but they're worth it in my opinion. And it's a whole palette. Like you're getting a lot of shades. Yeah, exactly. And then I believe I mentioned this in the last video, but I couldn't not mention these because they're still, I think, probably my favorite eyeshadows. The Sydney Grace single shadows. I do have some palettes from Sydney Grace, but these singles that I kind of like created my own palette, I use literally every single day, so I couldn't not mention it. I have 4 shades here. Let's see, this one is my most used. I think this one is called, what's it called? Camel. Camel's my most used shade. I've hit pan, as you can see. And then these two I kind of use, so this is like my transition shade. These two I kind of use in the crease, like in the outer corner, I use them today. And then this like matte cream shade is a perfect lid shade. So this is like my perfect everyday matte type of palette. So I keep this with like my everyday makeup, and I'll just do this unless I'm doing like a full-on look. This is my go-to. You can buy them individually. Like I said, they do have palettes on their website that are good, but I just find that something like a 4-pan palette like this is more suitable for like my needs every day. And the quality is 10 out of 10. Nobody, or at least not nobody, Jen Phelps talks about Sydney Grace, but not enough people talk about them. The brand is really, really great. everything I've tried from them has been such good quality. So I had to mention that. And then we have one product that we talked about in our last video, but we had to mention it again because as far as like powder highlights go, this is our favorite powder highlighter, and it's talc-free, so we had to mention it. It's the Ilia, is it called Decades? Yeah, Decades Daylight Highlighting Powder. It looks so unassuming in the pan, and actually,
I've had it for years now, and it looks like it's barely touched.
Me too. Yeah, and I actually feel like, yeah, this one is pressed pretty tight, so there's not a lot of kickback, but it's just beautiful on the skin.
I'm wearing it today.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looks like luminous and kind of like lit from within, even though it's gold. Like it's not like
it's not gold, it's like champagne.
Okay, it's like a gold champagne. Sometimes
I think it's a champagne.
Sometimes this color can look unnatural on the skin is what I'm saying. This one does not look like that.
Okay.
It looks really like beautiful, and
it blends into the skin perfectly.
For a powder highlighter, it's incredible.
Really good.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any talc-free brands that you want to recommend down below, please leave them in the comments so everybody can try out some more talc-free products, and we'll see you in the next one.